Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show here from the new studio. I'm wearing a blue shirt to contrast from the black background. I do not work at Best Buy, but fuck you to the person who said that. Let's kind of address the Ari Shaffir tweet because a lot of people are talking about it, and it's been a lot of people are kind of reacting to it. Let me read this very controversial tweet Ari Shaffir wrote. Aretha Franklin showed generations of black people that big can be beautiful, dooming them to a diabetes epidemic. Roast in hell, monster. Again, it's a lot, and I can understand why that angered certain people. Aretha Franklin's an icon, maybe one of the greatest singers, songwriters of all time. Not songwriters, but she's a performer. She's amazing. She's an icon, and I totally understand why some people were not appreciative of Ari's insinuation that somehow her being a big woman somehow made diabetes prevalent in the black community, and that she was somehow responsible for that. I do understand why people are angry about that, and I think that Ari does as well. And he's faced some consequences for that tweet. Why are you laughing? But that's what is funny about that?
Nothing.
Because I don't think it was that funny.
No, it wasn't. It's very offensive
about Aretha Franklin. Mm-mm. That's why people are angry with him, right?
Yeah.
Is that not it? I mean, you're looking at me like I'm wrong. What?
Well, you know about the Kobe. People were mad at him about the Kobe thing.
What did he say about Kobe?
He said Kobe died 28 years too late. Fuck the Lakers. Fuck Kobe. He's kind of celebrating that Kobe died. I don't know if you saw that.
That's why people are upset?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is?
Yeah, the day Kobe died.
I thought they dug up the Aretha Franklin tweet. They're mad at him about...
Yeah.
Get it up what he said about Kobe. This is fucking crazy to me. I had no idea. I thought they found an Aretha Franklin tweet.
Let's see. Let me find this here. Kobe Bryant died 23 years too late today. He got away with rape because all the Hollywood liberals who attack comedy enjoy rooting for the Lakers more than they dislike rape. Big ups to the hero who forgot to gas up his chopper. I hate the Lakers. What a great day. # fuck the Lakers.
That's why people are angry. Yeah. I get it now. Because I had thought that they were angry because they dug up the Aretha Franklin death tweet. Mm. Well, folks, I'm kidding, of course. That's our opening bit. I know what happened. I'm not out of it. I'm well aware of what's going on. I'm like anyone else. I'm like any other American. I just, survive in a haze of junk food and self-hatred. And then every now and then I perk right up when I hear that there's a controversy, and I get my ears and eyes peeled, and I, feel things. Because that's what we all need, to feel things now. We need rage to just feel. It's not enough to be like, ooh, it's a sunny day. We need to feel like something is being, happening and unfolding in front of us. We love that. We like a controversy. We like a fight. We like, so I think that his tweet, when I look at it, I go, I would not have said that. I mean, but Ari is consistent with that bit that he does, where when somebody dies, he says the most fucked up thing he can say about the person. And he does it rather immediately. Like, this is what he does after every single notable person dies or celebrity dies. He goes and he tweets something really heinous as their body is still warm. And I think this is clearly by far the most flack he's ever gotten for it, because this is the biggest person he's ever said it about. Kobe's, an icon. The whole entire city of Los Angeles is mourning. We have friends that have been really upset because they've been like, Kobe was like a father to me, which that also doesn't make sense. That's also Ari saying the wrong thing, but that's also insane on the other side to say this guy's your dad. When you have a dad, you can't, he's not your dad. It's what it is. He's an iconic figure. And I get that everyone's processing it in different ways, but there's people I've seen on Twitter that have been like, he's like a member of my family. What? Huh? I'm lost. But I do get the importance of the guy. And, now I think, Ari's parents have been doxxed. People are calling in bomb threats to the venues he's performing at. I mean, it is, the internet, they get it popping. They really do. I mean, they don't waste any time trying to dismantle your life when something like that happens. I remember when Dina Hashem made a joke about XXX the rapper, and she had to make all of her accounts private because, like black emo teenagers were threatening to kill her or something. I don't know who that guy's fan base was, but I mean, hey, I get it. I've made a few jokes about Billie Eilish, and, people have her, young goth women have, surrounded me, at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, and I've taken many a beating for that. I've taken some body blows for, I'm just not a huge fan of the music. That's all. Ari is a funny guy. He's been a good person to me. As another comic, he's always been somebody who's looked out, I think, for comics. He's introduced me to people. He showed my stuff to people. He is not, but I do understand why people, I'll never understand why somebody doxes someone's parents. I mean, I'll never understand why somebody goes online and tries to, like people that had nothing to do with this. Like Ari's fucking parents survived the Holocaust. Like they had nothing. I think his dad survived the Holocaust. Like they had nothing to do. It's not like his dad's texting him what to say about Kobe Bryant. So it's so absurd that anybody would do that. That being said, I know why people are angry and upset about it. And, hey, I mean, I think that we should all choose our words carefully when someone has died that is a beloved figure. You got to choose your words carefully. Now, I have a video where I say that Meghan McCain will only have sex with her father. And I say that she'll fuck his corpse. She'll fuck his corpse. Daddy. And that's a video I have, right? I say that Meghan McCain will only have sexual relations with her father's corpse. So, and it's like, fun. It's like a funny video to me. I understand maybe why somebody, but I didn't do it the day he died. But I'm clearly not going to get on like a moral high horse about like what type of things people can say. I'm sure there's things that I've said or will say that might get people, What are you going to do? So I wish him the best. I've kind of been not paying attention to this as much as, I should, or I really shouldn't. No one should pay attention to anything in my book. Just fucking turn it off. Turn it off. I've been watching real estate shows for the past 72 hours. I've been watching real estate shows based in LA, $1 Million Listing, Selling Sunset. And what I like about these shows is they're not about anything. None of the characters are particularly memorable. They all try to be. That's the thing with like these reality shows. They try to be quirky or different, but they're not. The only reason people watch these is it's real estate porn, and they shoot the houses so beautifully, and everything about LA is sun drenched and gorgeous. And then when you walk around LA, even some of these nice houses, they're just boxes and dirt. That's what a lot of them are, especially when you go up into the Hollywood Hills. They're just concrete boxes that someone stuck in a mound of cat litter, and they put little infinity pools outside, and everybody pays $10 million to live there. But it's really, when you see it, it's not nearly as impressive as this beautiful, seductive style of shooting where, because Ben always tells me, we can't shoot in the middle of the day because it's too sunny. But somehow the Bravo team has found a way to like it's sexual. And so why is that? Why can we never do it, but they can do it? Is it because their equipment is better?
Well, they have a $40,000 camera.
Okay, so that's what. Why do you talk like that?
Well, how am I talking?
You don't talk like that in real life. You go, they have a 40,000.
I didn't
talk like deep and.
I listen back. I don't think I sound like that.
You never speak the way you're speaking right now. I listen back. I don't think I sound. These fucking shows, they're so vapid and they're not real. Like none of the negotiations are real because the negotiations are all very like, you're at 10-5. We got to find a way to get to 13. We got to find a way to get to 13-5. We're a million apart. It's too far. We're just too far apart. We got to make a deal work. But the real negotiations, I feel like, are like, listen, this is all Chinese blood money. They can't get this amount of money out of the country immediately. You're going to need to fucking take a few contingencies on this deal, okay? This guy's on the fucking run. He just poisoned a river. They want him for genocide, but he loves infinity pools. So he wants his property. But he could be in the UN criminal court soon at The Hague. I mean, they want him for torture. I mean, literally, but he adores this property. He likes the finishes. He loves the onyx table. He loves that it's got multiple exposures. He loves that it's one of the best streets in Beverly Hills. But you got to give him some time to get the money out of the country because he's being accused of genocide. He's just being accused of genocide. But he adores that he can get 3,000 feet of outdoor living space because that's a lot to get. I explained this to him. While he was sawing off the arm of one of his political opponents. I said, will you just cut the buzzsaw down for a minute and listen to me? You're getting 3,000 feet of outdoor living space in the hills. This is big. No one gets this. Not for this price point. Because that's who's buying a lot of these properties. It's dictators. It's blood money. A lot of this is blood. That's why the real estate show should just be called Blood Money. It should be called Blood Money, and it should be about people talking about that they now have to sell these high-end properties to the dictators of third world countries. That's what the show should be. It should be Blood Money. You should be like, there's a lot of powerful people in the world, and sometimes they have to leave their countries after a coup, but they love the sexy Los Angeles sun. So we're selling them hot properties. Sure, many of them have been accused credibly of genocide and poisoning entire races of people, but one thing they love is a nice view. So come on and watch Blood Money. They'll be like, the only people that can really afford these high, and it'll just be a realtor, it'll be like a good-looking realtor with like hot Manolo Blahnik shoes. She'll be sitting on Sunset Boulevard and she'll be like, some of the only people that can afford these properties right now are murderers. I mean, real murderers. I'm not even talking about OJ. I mean, they've done shit. I'm talking about biblical proportions. I mean, they have laid down hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, but they're coming in. Like Michael Bloomberg, I remember, who like delusional people think is going to be the president. Like, how nuts do you have to be to think Bloomberg has a shot? Or how rich? Because that's also, my friend's parents are very wealthy and they're like, we like Bloomberg. And it's like, yeah, of course you do. So how rich or how insane do you have to be to think Bloomberg is a shot? Bloomberg said about New York City, he's like, bring all the billionaires. We want them all. We want them all. And like, you have to realize it's like, yeah, but some of them have done some dirty deeds. You know, we want all of the billionaires. So what? They've, poisoned people in their own country. They like shrimp cocktail. They like steak. Let them come here. We'll get them a beautiful penthouse. But that's what it should be called. It should just be called blood money. Selling the high, because that's what we're doing. We're just selling the rest of New York and LA to people, a lot of them who've earned their money by grinding people into a paste. So that they have the kind of money where they can come over here because they go, I ground everyone into a paste. Everybody's upset about it, but I want my kids to go to NYU. Mm-hmm. So I want to get something nice in Tribeca. My kids love Gossip Girl. My daughters love Gossip Girl. So I want to get something on the Upper East Side. My daughters are just huge fans of The Hills. They love, they just want to watch it. So, but that is literally when I did this show on a tour bus in New York City where we rented out a double-decker bus and took it through New York. We would point out where these like Russian fertilizer magnates lived and these, Chinese amusement park tycoons and, Russian gangsters. And a lot of these people were gangsters. And I don't even mean, I'm not one of these guys who just says, oh, if you're a billionaire, you're necessarily a murderer. That's not the worst. By the way, I mean, you would, if you were throwing a dartboard, there's a lot, if you threw a dartboard if you threw darts at a bunch of billionaires on a board, you would hit a few murderers pretty quickly. But I'm not one of those guys who's like, oh, you're necessarily like an evil guy. But a lot of these people that were just stashing their money in real estate in New York or LA were actually really like nefarious characters that had, one guy that lived in the Time Warner Center had poisoned a river in Zambia. Like he was a mining magnate. I think his name was Anit Agarwal. He was a mining magnate and he had basically, he was like, somebody who had done some really deadly things with the waste that his like mine produced. And he was literally being accused of like a genocide or at least like poisoning a river and killing a bunch of people. And then just the idea that, he came over to New York and that's why he didn't want, this is why real estate in New York or LA is so attractive to these people is that number one, they don't buy it under their own name. Like nobody gets real estate under their name. They get it under a shell corp. And a shell corp is a corporation that is formed usually for the express purposes of buying real estate. It could be for investing in a company. You could set up a shell corp to invest in a startup or something like that. But usually it's a corporation where you don't have like the physical address is different from your address. And it's not, you have to jump through a lot of hoops to find out who the shell corp is registered to. A lot of these people have addresses at Cayman Islands or whatever. It's a great way to just move money around. And when you're buying real estate in places like New York or London, half of new construction in London has gone to foreign nationals. A lot of it in New York has gone to foreign nationals. I think at one point in New York City, half of the real estate market was foreign nationals, half of the entire market. And it bumped the condo prices up. The average condo price was like over $2 million. And you're like, well, why are all these people buying all this real estate? Because number one, it's a good asset. It's a hard asset. You can live in it. You can rent it out. But also, it's a great way to evade taxes. This is just a great way to get the money out of your country. It's a good way to get the money out of the country and hide it. And God only knows where you made it. It could be drugs and narco trafficking, human trafficking, narco terrorism. Could be just, good old-fashioned, the Wild West of natural gas in Kazakhstan where God only knows what's happening. It's like God only knows where the money's coming from. Nobody cares. Nobody in the real estate market cares. These people don't care. They're not asking questions. And I get it. They're just not asking questions. You look at these people, you're making a lot of money, and they're just not asking questions where the money comes. They don't care where the money comes from. They don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to them. Someone sold Epstein that island. Someone sold him that island. There should be a show where realtors show pedophile billionaires' islands. You know, and it should be called $1 Million Fisting. Where just, you know, realtors are like, it would start like this. It'd be like, there's a certain type of person that loves luxury, but even more than luxury, they love privacy. These are some of the top island brokers in the world. Mm-hmm. It's not enough to just have an apartment or a beautiful estate. These people need their own private island with a private heliport where they can go and come as they please and take whoever the hell they want there. Welcome to $1 Million Fisting. It would just be some chick who's like, you know, I was trafficked to one of these islands as a girl, and I realized that I loved real estate. I just had an eye for it, and I understood why the island was perfect. It was just private. It was in the middle of the Virgin Islands. I was just, you know, in love with the beaches. I love that it was just, you know, I think it was about 75 acres, and, you know, it had several places where we could dock boats, and it was just one of those islands. So many of the traffic girls, unfortunately, you know, went into lives of crime or drugs, but I really just got into the idea of selling high-end islands to pedophiles. So that's what I do now. I know more islands than anyone else. I know the ins and outs of it. And it would just be a realtor just showing somebody around like an island, like Little St. James, and being like, you know, hey, how are you guys? Oh, it's good to meet you. How are you? Hello. Hi, Senator. How are you? I think what you really love about this island, I was listening to everything you told me, and I really started to think about it. And I think this is really the perfect property for you. It's very private. It has a heliport right near the house. So there's not a long walk between the heliport to the house. And I know that's a concern for you, you know, because, you know, who knows what state people are going to be arriving here in, okay? You've got great 360-degree views from your bedroom. So you can walk out on the deck and see who's coming in from where. And that's super important, you know? They've also got a lot of different boat slips here. You can make a quick getaway. It's really great. And I just think it's super. There's a lot of underground space, which I know is super important to you. It's super important to have underground space, you know? You could really construct anything here. We're talking about, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 square feet of underground living space with absolutely no light coming in. It's a very kind of medieval dungeon feel. I just think that's something that you guys would really like, you know? The price is about $30 million. I know it's a little more than you were looking to spend, but there is some wiggle room. This is owned currently by a Saudi prince, but he wants to get rid of it. He's upgrading his operation right now. And so there is a little wiggle room on price. So are you interested? Because I could just call him right now. Hi, how are you? Great. Listen, I have my client right here. He absolutely loves it. He adores the underground dungeon space. Okay, we're coming in right now at about $27.5. It's an all-cash deal, and we can close in 2 weeks. I don't know. He doesn't love that number. He doesn't love $27.5. I understand, but this is a qualified buyer. We're coming in all cash. There's no contingencies here. Oh, am I calling someone? Just calling one of my friends. I just think I'm lost my mind. But that's really that's where we're headed with like a lot of these real estate shows. And I just love them. They're hypnotic. They hypnotize you, and you just look at, and you know, they're all coked out, these fucking realtors. There's this one British guy's like, hey, look at this house. It's a stunning estate. It's a goddamn stunning estate. And you could just taste the chalk as it goes down his fucking throat. It's a stunning estate. I'm number one broker here in the Hollywood Hills. But that's where we're at with television, is just we're all kind of being hypnotized and just looking at these, and nobody's going to own like the amount of money you have to own any of this. Like none of it's even aspirational. You can't imagine it. You can barely, because it's so much money that it's like you're put at a safe distance from it. You could just kind of ogle it. It's porn. It's literally porn. You look at something in a porn, you go, I can't really do that. Mm-hmm. That's not something I can do. And I don't know anyone that can get in that position. It's just not going to happen. So you can appreciate it just from like, you know, it's impressive. And that's what this stuff is. It's just real estate porn. That's why those Real Housewives shows were interesting to me, not because of the drama or any of that garbage. I just like seeing where rich people lived. And a lot of these people, by the way, and that's the great thing about real estate. You look at these real estate agents and you're like, these people have made money and they're retarded. So that does give you hope.
Yeah.
You're like, these people because you can't just be a hedge fund manager. Like you'd have to go to school. You can't just, but real estate's a job where you literally in the middle of your life, if everything else is fucking fallen by the wayside, you could literally go get a real estate license and start showing properties and you might be good at it. Real estate agents have social intelligence. They're not that intelligent. Being too intelligent is probably a negative to selling real estate. You have to be kind of a vapid person because real estate's vapid. You want like small talk. You know, you can't like mention, it would be amazing to me to meet all these people every day and not mention that they all drove through a post-apocalyptic, like LA is just tents everywhere in tent cities. It would be hard for me to not mention some of that while showing them the house, but that wouldn't go over big because you got to pretend like that stuff's not even happening. It just doesn't exist. It's not real. Don't worry your little head about it. One of my old bosses used to be like, don't watch the news. The news is not your friend. Don't watch the news. Don't live in the real world. That's not the place to live. He would just be like, just go out there. But my fantasy life is selling real estate. My fantasy life is still a shitty life, which is great. I'm still some type of, like most people like their fantasy life is they're the guy being sold the house. My fantasy life is I'm still a schmuck that's just selling high-end real estate to derelicts. Like that's the life that I think that I should live is just, selling, because I always thought it would be, the commissions on these houses are $250,000, $200,000, $180,000, life-changing commissions. You earn one commission on one of these houses, your life is changed. There's very few things you can sell where your life is changed after one deal. You close one deal, your life is changed. You sell a $5 million house, your life is changed for most people. And that is what I always found interesting about it. It's like you could do it. You could just be at the right place, the right time. I'm not saying it's easy, but there's a lot. What I do is much harder. And that's not saying that there's a lot of people that work a hell of a lot harder than me, but I think it's just harder to entertain a room full of people for an hour than being hot and standing in a house and having someone fall in love with it and go, okay. And I know that's not all of what it is, but it's a lot of what it is. It's a lot of what it is. And obviously there's work that goes into it, but let's cut it out. Okay? These are brain dead people when you watch these shows. They're literally brain dead. Okay? They say the same 5 fucking things over and over again. It's a really unique property. You got to look at the finishes. The finishes are all updated. There's 3 exposures. Look at the view. You got some outdoor living space. It's really great. You got to jump on it now. There's been a lot of interest. There's nothing profound. It's like agents. You meet with agents. They don't say anything profound. They're like, oh, good, you're selling tickets. You should sell more. Thank you. Good. And when you sell more tickets, you'll be playing bigger venues.
Yeah. Like that Gary V, the advice he gave to that TikTok girl.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes, he meets the TikTok girl. Gary V goes, she goes, what should I do right now? He goes, stay on TikTok. It's like, yeah, of course. Then she goes, should I go to YouTube? He goes, I don't know. Maybe you won't translate. Maybe you will. It's like, is this advice? I mean, literally, I'm asking. I'm not trying to just hate on him all the time, but like, is this literally actionable advice to give to another human being? Yeah, the thing that you're doing that's working, just do that. And then the other thing that you're thinking about doing might not work as well. But it's just, it's a way to give people non-advice so that hold on. Did Swingers cancel my order again? I would say my order was delivered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go check.
Let me check, yeah.
Just check.
You want to keep going?
Yeah, I'm going to keep going. I don't think it was delivered. I have criticized Swingers in West Hollywood because they run a human trafficking ring, and I'm against that. So I've criticized them, and I've sort of suggested that people rise up and, as vigilantes, burn the place down. But did we get it? Okay, we did get it. Okay, well, I mean, all right. Well, don't burn the place. I was just trying to get people to go burn the place down. Well, don't do that now. Don't do it now. Put it down. I don't want it now. We're doing a show. Sit down. Focus. I wish I could play some of these videos for these people. That would really make the show a lot better. Can we edit them in and post?
From the actual TV show?
No, from YouTube.
Which show? The $1 Million Listing or the ones you were showing me?
Just the ones I was showing you.
The like Long Island ones?
Yeah, because they're hilarious. Like I want to show people the difference between, is there a way to edit a YouTube video into the, I don't know.
Yeah, but then I think they could pull the video because it's like copyrighted because it's on their channel. So I think YouTube can recognize that in an algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that true?
I think so. I can post a link to that one video you kept watching,
but
though.
It's not. We're going to do this again when we can. What do we have to do to get that to work?
Well, I mean, we need a switcher. We need an HDMI cable.
Yeah, we got it. We got to get the TV working because then we can show you some of the stuff. You know, like we could show you that Ari Shaffir tweet on the TV.
Yeah.
Just so you knew, you know, man, Ari, man, God love him. But, you know, hey, sometimes you just step in it. He just stepped in it. That's all. You know, I'm sure he'll come out of it. You know, I mean, what do? Do you double down? Do you go even harder?
Is that what you think he's going to do?
I hope not. I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's probably taking a step back. It might be a good time for him to go on one of the sabbaticals he does where he goes to Tibet for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Go and take a month. You know?
Yeah.
He does that. He'll disappear for a little bit and go, maybe it's time to just let the heat cool off. Let it cool off a little bit and then come back. You know? And buy a stunning estate. Stunning estate in Beverly Hills. Hey, new year, new you. The Tim Dillon Show is sponsored by Manscaped. And you know what else is new? The engineers at Manscaped have spent the last 18 months crafting the perfect ball hair trimmer. How much would you love to watch them do this on like the Today Show? And they've released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. Smooth out your scrotum with a new ceramic blade and Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. That means it won't nick or snag your nutsack. Riff on shaving your balls. Okay. Well, now I have to riff on shaving your balls. You ever shave your balls and you're like, oh, fuck, I nicked my nutsack, and you just start bleeding all over the house? It ain't fun. The Lawnmower 3.0 has lots of upgraded features, making it the best razor system you've ever owned. Featuring an LED light so you can get in all those nooks and crannies. They've also juiced this baby with 7,000 RPM motor. Oh, God. With quiet stroke technology. So no one can hear you buzz yourself because it's quiet stroke technology. The battery now lasts up to 90 minutes. Just in case you want to spend an hour and a half buzzing your balls. Can you imagine the person that spends 90 minutes working on their package? Can you imagine? The charging stand is now powered by USB. It couldn't be easier to use. If you have the Manscaped 2.0 razor, it's easy. You can use the same replacement blade from the 3.0. Upgrade yourself. Get 20% off and free shipping when you use the code TIM at manscaped.com. That's manscaped.com and use the promo code TIM for 20% off your first order. Get Manscaped and keep your balls clean in 2020. Okay? Here's the deal. You need this product if you are a male or you identify as a male. You need to clean up your package. There's a few products like this. There's a Norelco Body Groom, and then there is this thing, the Lawnmower 3.0. The Body Groom is not great. The Lawnmower is a much better product. It insulates you from nicking yourself, cutting yourself. It is better. I use it. They send me a bunch. I've given them to friends. It is the highest tech on the market for shaving your balls. That's the way it is. So if you're going to use a product like this, you might as well use this. Use promo code TIM. You get 20% off your first order. I'm telling you, you might as well. 20% off your first order. You're not going to get that deal with Norelco. You're not going to get that deal with any other razor. This is a professional razor. They've put a lot of thought into this, into how you can shave your balls for 90 minutes if need be. Skin safe technology, quiet stroke technology. I mean, what do you want? You should get this. It's a great way to get a great product. It's really, important that you use the promo code so they know that we're sending you to the website, that you're supporting our program. And it's also a great way to just clean up your package. A lot of people aren't having sex right now. They're just not having sex, There's too much porn out there. They're on SSRIs. They can't get hard for whatever reason. They don't know how to talk to women. They're lonely. They're lonely people, and they're being radicalized online and on the dark web or wherever they go. Even on the there's plenty of things on the regular web that'll get you going. So instead of doing that, instead of becoming a psychopath, maybe you should try to have sex with someone that you are attracted to, and that will prevent you from spending hours and hours and hours reading about the shapes of skulls. It's a thought. It's a thought. I don't know. Maybe it won't work, but it could. So I think it's a great way to just try. Just give it a shot. Manscaped.com, promo code TIM for 20% off your first order. Thank you. There's just, I said this on the Patreon the other day. I don't really get that upset with what people say because I know how cheap words are. And most people that are talking to you are lying and making things up. Most people are trying to make themselves sound more interesting by lying. They'll make up things that never happened to them and they'll say it. They'll tell you stories from movies that they think you didn't see and then try to pretend that they lived through them. This is how desperate most human beings are for any level of attention. They just don't care. So words to me don't mean anything. Literally, no matter what you say, I understand that words, of course, do mean things. But I'm very cynical. Unless you show me something, unless I'm able to deduce, like what you say to me is absolutely, for the most part, as irrelevant as anything. When people just pop off and talk, I mean, I have friends that I like that I know are pathological liars that will sit at a table with you and make up something that's just completely untrue and get called out on it and really don't have any shame. This is just, I assume when people are talking to me, I assume that most of them are lying. I just assume you're making something up. And then if it turns out to be true, I go, oh, nice. If it turns out to be an actually true thing, I go, oh, that's nice. I just, you can't trust people because all they're trying to do is be funny or interesting. And they'll say anything. People will literally just say anything. People talk about things they have no idea what they're talking about, and they just go. They just go. There's no shame. They just go. They just go right. They just let it out. Doesn't matter. They don't have to know about it. How many times do we sit in a room and people start talking to Rogan about fighting? They start telling him what the deal is. It's like, what are you saying? Shut up. Will you shut up? They don't care. They just talk because they don't know what else to do. They're very uncomfortable with silence. So they just talk. I've members of my family like that. They don't know anything and they say ridiculous things because people don't call them out. And they just say things that don't make any sense. Just let it happen. You can't get angry. People get angry that boomers go on Facebook and light it up. Let them have it. Who cares? It's funny. They're crazy. They're almost dead. They've never had a platform like this where they could just launch They could just go. It used to be a corner bar. Now it's Facebook. They could just launch. They don't need to have the facts. Doesn't matter to them. They want to be heard. Boomers, by the way, it's the first generation that has a shit ton of life experience and no wisdom. Like they're like, I've been on this planet a long time. It's like, and you ruined it. Shut the fuck up, half of you. Not all of you, but a lot of you should just pipe down. Just go out quietly. You destroy. It's like you inherit a house. You burn the house down. Just leave quietly. Just exit quietly. Don't be loud on the way out. You burned it down. You know? And that's not everyone. But, you know, let them launch on Facebook. Let them pop off. Anyone still on Facebook in any meaningful sense right now is a mental patient. And I mean that. If you're on Facebook trying to make a point, you're nuts. It's a graveyard. I see people that I like kind of respect on and they go into these multi-paragraph things on Facebook. And they're like, well, here's how I see it. Here's how I see it. Could there be anything less appropriate than your take on Facebook? There's nothing to say anymore on that site. It's like the people who are still there are sick. You're convincing sick people? My mother is in a mental institution. They're all more well-adjusted than my Facebook timeline. People talk about drama in these little comedy communities. No one cares about your drama in Burnt Corn, Alabama's comedy scene. Stop talking about the open mic that banned you because you used the word Oriental. And then you and the 9 other people in that scene are going to have a 2,000 comment thread about free speech. After the Ari thing, again, people doing these big comment threads about free speech. Shut the fuck up. You also have the freedom to not speak. Doesn't affect you. You're unaffected by this. You don't need to go into a whole, but this is what people do and I've said it before, they're feral. They've been bit. Social media has given them this idea that they have to have a take on things. Just let it go. No one gives a fuck about what you're saying. Calm down. It's crazy. Stop posting libertarian memes if you live with your mother. Stop talking about how bad socialism is if you live with your mother. Get out of your house. These Long Island guys live with their mom. Socialism is bankrupted. Will you shut up? You're eating cereal that someone bought for you. You're on a family plan. You're in your 30s. It's like that's what Facebook is. It's like people have authority. You're my favorite ones that go, get off my page. Take that off my page. This is my page. I don't own a house, but I own this page. I have this page where I can enforce the rules. Go. I have it to sell some tickets, to put some merch out there. I had a lot of fun with it back in the day. I used to write these long things, troll people. It was a lot of fun. But it's over now. And if you're 96, don't be on TikTok. Like, maybe we'll all have to be on TikTok. There's just something super sad about seeing old people on that app. I know that we have to get on it probably for our careers, but there's something sad about it. You feel odd being on it because everyone's 15. It's like, I'm not really trying to entertain 15-year-olds. I don't care. You shouldn't think I'm funny. You can't buy tickets to my show. We're not doing anything here. There's no overlapping life experiences of me and you. You were born after 9/11. You know what I mean? I was born before 9/11. And then I learned that 9/11 wasn't real. So we're never gonna, I'm not doing your new dance on TikTok. Okay? I watched the towers fall and then found out they were holograms. I'm not doing your dance. I'm not doing your Fortnite dance. Okay? I'm awake. You don't get it, you little punk bitch. You don't know what it's like to listen to people talk about lizard people and then find out they're right. Me and Ray were saying, this is why people are going so fucking nuts. Me and Ray knew how fucked everything, we knew how fucked the whole government was, but then most people just found out about it with kid fucking. So that's how their minds melted. Because if you know how bad, if you knew about Kennedy and about all of these coups that we did, if you knew about these democratically, if you knew about how fake everything was and the murder and assassination and blackmail, you knew the shit the CIA was into. If you paid attention, if you'd read any of those books, if you knew, our appetite for skullduggery and the things that we had done to other people, children, if you knew about MK Ultra, if you knew about that shit, then once you got to the pedophile cults and Epstein, you were kind of like, yeah, this is a heinous but logical conclusion to the infrastructure, the groundwork that we already laid in our mind. Mm-hmm. But if you just arrived at that, your mind melts. And that's what you're seeing is people's minds melt. So you're like, oh, fuck. Wait, what? It's crazy. If your entrance point into how fucked up everything is there's private islands where politicians are fucking kids, your mind will melt. And I'm not saying it's not shocking if you knew other things, but it's less shocking if you knew what these people are capable of. If you just know what they're capable of, you're like, yeah, this is what we had thought it could be. And it is that. But that's what people's minds are melting and they don't know what to do. So I think that's where the QAnon stuff comes in. It's like, they're just looking to believe things, they're like, well, I hope to God that everything's, but now it'll be okay, right? They're like, but now, because that's what all these things are. They're like, but now it's good because now there's the secret war that's happening. You're like, well, I don't know. Hopefully you're right. Hopefully there is a secret war. I don't, what am I telling you? I would love if there was a secret war and good people won. Great. But I just, it's like thinking that Donald Trump is leading that war to me is I almost have to believe that one of these realtors on Bravo is doing it because it's the same type of person. I would almost have to believe that, Yeah, one of the guys from $1 Million Listing is fighting a secret war to free all the kids that are being fucked. Really? Good. You would say good. You'd go good. The guy from $1 Million Listing that sold the house, the big house with the rooftop pool, he's doing the secret war? Oh. Well, I'm happy about that. I'm not against that. I'm for that. If it's happening, I'm for it. I have no investment in it not happening. Good. That's what Ari Shaffir has to do to get in everyone's good graces. He's got to figure out who killed Epstein. Ari's got to solve the Jeffrey Epstein murder and then come back with a fire tweet naming the perpetrator. John McAfee did it recently. He's like, it was Tartaglione. It was his prison guard, and we're piecing the other things together. And he's like, if you know how it happened, I'll buy you dinner. It's like, okay. Prince Andrew not cooperating. That's a shock. It's a shock. It's a shock. They're still trying. Like there's still elements, I'm sure, the FBI that have some good people in them, and they're still like trying to. We wish everyone luck. Ghislaine Maxwell in a few years will be somebody buying a house in one of these Bravo real estate shows. They'd be like, it's one thing I know about Ghislaine. She loves a stunning estate. Ghislaine is a socialite. She's made of money, hanging out with people with a lot of style. So I'm going to show her a house in the Bird Streets. The Bird Streets are like the hot Hollywood Hills. You people don't know. The Truesdale Estates. a lot of this stuff is gated. When I was a kid, I grew up, we used to drive through wealthy areas and smoke pot in the car. And that's how, white privilege, it's annoying to hear, but it is true, because I literally used to get high and look at all my friends and go, I want to see the mansions. And we would just drive around mansions, just stoned and on other things. And then we just get out of the car, sometimes like creep up the lawn at these old mansions. I'd be smoking a cigarette. I'm like, look at this property. It's gorgeous. I was driving through Sands Point, Long Island one day. I was smoking pot with my buddy Tom, who's now works for the government. He's like a U.S. Marshal. And we were driving, and we had the windows down. We were smoking pot, driving through all these mansions, and I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, these people are so much better than us. They're so much better than us. And I wasn't kidding. I was awake and aware, and I got, and that was fun. You can't do that in California because of the goddamn gates. These fucking scaredy cats, they always need to be behind the gates. But in Long Island, a lot of those areas weren't gated, so you could drive around, all coked out and look at Christmas lights. There was something nice to be coked out and look at Christmas lights. It's much nicer when you're stoned. Obviously, it's nicer. It's nicer when you're stoned and you have a little hot chocolate from Dunkin' Donuts and you can go look at the lights. So fun. Baby, do you got a Ridge wallet? No. You don't have a Ridge wallet? What are you, like a piece of shit? Ridge is the fucking best. It is a small front pocket wallet. It comes in titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, and over a dozen different styles and colors. I've talked about this before. One of the most embarrassing things about my dad was he used to pull out this old leather wallet with business cards of people he had never done business with, and they'd all fall out. And he'd have a bunch of ones that he stuffed in there, just stripper money stuffed right into the wallet. And it was filthy. It was disorganized. It made him look unsuccessful. You don't want that. You want a streamlined, tight, sharp Ridge wallet that only has a few debit cards and a credit card. We're a cashless society, maybe a $100 bill, something really crisp you throw in there. But the great thing about a Ridge wallet is it forces you to organize your life. You don't have this big, cumbersome, ball of shit in your pocket that you don't need. Okay? You have something that is streamlined, and it necessitates you to start looking at what is and isn't an actual necessity in your life. Now, we've talked about this before. It starts with Ridge Wallet, but then it goes to people. Who do you really need in your life? Who needs to get out? Where do you really need to go? What do you really need to do? Is the job you're at there? I mean, everything starts with your wallet. Everything starts with choices. Every choice in life that you have should be intentional. You should say to yourself, I want to do something, and then you do it. And something about a Ridge wallet, and I have a Ridge wallet, there's something about it that really forces you to basically strip your life down to the bare essentials, because that is what we all need. We need essentials. My mother was a hoarder. We had rooms in my house that were just stacked up shoe boxes filled with Beanie Babies, McDonald's toys, Hess trucks, that were going to get sold in the aftermarket, never materialized, never came to fruition. My mother's retirement plan never worked. Now, thank God she's in a mental institution. She doesn't really need one. But what I'm saying is that a Ridge wallet prevents that. That type of thinking doesn't exist when you have a Ridge wallet, okay? It's very easy. You got to use promo code Tim. You go ridge.com/TIM. Use TIM. It's the link in the description. Okay? They've been sponsoring our podcast. We're very proud to be in a business with them. We like them. They're good people. They put out a good product. People are happy with it. Can they buy the backpacks too?
Yeah, not with the code, but they can still buy the backpacks on the website.
You don't need the code for the backpack. Enough. You get the code for the wallet. Okay? 10% off. Free worldwide shipping and returns if you don't like it. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter what radical group you're part of that you're listening to the show. They'll send you a Ridge wallet. Golden Dawn. over there, and I think it's a right-wing group in Greece. I don't know. The point is, I'm just picking it out of the sky. No matter where you are, maybe you're a special ops guy and you're hanging out in Africa, just, helping those people on behalf of the United States government, and you need a Ridge wallet. Well, then you get one. Free worldwide shipping. Maybe you're in Syria waiting for it to pop off again, because that'll be coming in about 6 months. Who knows? Maybe you're in the Ukraine pissing Putin off, trying to start some shit. Get a Ridge wallet. We'll ship it to you, and you can return it if you don't like it. But I think you'll love it. Free returns means they are confident that you're going to love the Ridge wallet. Doesn't matter where you are. You could be in America. You could be in any country. It's worldwide. This is a worldwide company. Ridge wallet is baller shit. It's a conversation starter. People are like, what is that? You go, it's my fucking Ridge wallet. They go, wow. Then you start talking about this show. You go, well, I listen to the Tim Dillon Show. I purchased the Ridge wallet. It's been great. And they go, what do you mean the Tim Dillon Show? Now, of course, they know what it is. I'm lying. I'm making this up. They usually go, oh, I love that show. Or they go, my family listens to that show. I don't listen to that show, but I should. Everyone tells me it's so funny. Tim Dillon's a genius. Is that true? And somebody goes, well, of course it is. This is what happened. And then maybe there's an attractive woman at the bar, and she just says to you, oh, you what do you listen to Tim Dillon Show? You got a Ridge wallet? I want to have sex with you. And I want to have children with you. And I want to build a life with you, and I will be faithful to you, and you don't have to be faithful to me. I don't expect that. I don't expect that because you're too attractive and successful. All of this started because you had a Ridge wallet. All of those things happen, okay? Now, of course, that's not going to happen for everyone. I mean, more likely you get the Ridge wallet, you take it out, you're playing with it, and then, the guy at Dunkin' Donuts says, we're closing. And they start flicking the lights on and off, tell you to get out. And you're not listening because you have your ear pods in and you're listening to the podcast, and the guy has to come over to you and he has to lightly start shaking you and motioning to the door, it's time to go. Because it's, the results are different. We can't guarantee the results of the Ridge wallet. Many of you will purchase this and still have horrible lives. I mean, horrible. But some of you, this will turn it around. And are you willing to take that chance? You should be. You should be. I'm telling you right now. My dad bought 1 million of these and didn't use the promo code. Thank you. He didn't. He bought it for everyone he knows, and he does not use the promo code, so it doesn't help me at all. But then he goes, well, I'm sure it helps somehow. And I go, it does not. It does not. But again, that's the boomer mentality of like, hey, it's the thought that counts. No, it's not. It's actually not the thought that's ever counted. That's the whole generation. They believe that's the thought that counts. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Not at all the thought that counts. It's actually what you do that counts. Okay? But they don't care. They don't. Golf. Oh, they don't care. Doesn't matter to them. I'm sure it helps. No, but thanks anyway. Thanks for trying. That's okay. I appreciate it. Ridge.com/Tim, T-I-M. Use code TIM. For the love of God, use the code. Don't fucking get it without the code. Use the code. That's why we have a code. You'll get 10% off. And more importantly, they'll know that you got there from my goddamn show. Don't tell me that you didn't use the code. Be methodical. Use the code. Don't be like my dad, great guy, but doesn't use the fucking code. Use the code. The code is your friend. The code is here to help you and help me. That's why we need codes. Codes are good. Promo codes are good. They're exclusive. Don't you want to be in the club? The Bohemian Grove? You can't get in that. But here's what you can do. You can get a fucking Ridge wallet with the code TIM. So use the goddamn code. Please. Don't message me as many people have and say, I forgot to use the code. I hope this counts. It doesn't count. How many times do I have to? How in God's name would it count? They don't know where you're showing up from. The code is essential so that I get credit for what you do. And the code is essential for you to get the 10% off. Okay? That's the important thing. So let's all use the code. And the code is TIM. It's not confusing. It's just my name, TIM. Easy. Isn't it easy? All of you can remember and hopefully spell the name Tim. So let's please use that code. One more time, ridge.com/TIM to buy the fucking wallet. When you purchase the fucking wallet, you'll get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns. That means shipping to anywhere in the world and returns from anywhere in the world. That's what worldwide means. Thank you to our partners over at Ridge. It's a new year. It's a new time for all of the people out there to get a fucking wallet. That's it. Thank you. So fun. Smoking pot, it's supposed to be when you're in your late teens, your early 20s. That's what it's for. Stop doing it if you're older than that. It's enough already. Enough. I get it that you people can't put it down, but put it down. It'll never be as much fun. Oh, I started smoking pot at 32. Okay, you fucking loser. Enough. It's for children. It's for teens and young adults. That's when it's the most fun. You don't need to be doing it for your entire life. Your mind will melt. Trust me. You just don't need to do it. It's not the move. There's other things to do. And I know this is super controversial because there's a lot of people that listen to this show that love weed. Just try a little time without it. Just space it out a little bit. Take a hit every now and then. You stop. There's something weird about being in your 30s and it's like everything's about weed. Something odd about that. Grow up. Drink wine. Take pills. Take pills and drink wine. Get drunk. OD in your bed. Die. Do something adult for once. Be a fucking adult. Do something adult, like get a drinking problem and lose your kids. That's what adults do. They don't fucking smoke pot and talk about how disappointing the new Star Wars was. Lose your firm. Snort your house. Destroy yourself with pharmaceuticals. I don't care. I'm not telling you to be a moralist, but enough with being a fucking, pothead when you're in your mid-30s. Grow the fuck up. I smoke to go to sleep. Well, deal with your demons. Make peace with the monster under the bed. Defeat him. Be him. I'm just yelling this. There's just a kindergarten class looking at me. They're like, this was inappropriate to have him in. This wasn't really great, But I've had enough with the weed. Living in LA, every store's a weed store. That's the only thing left in this economy is the TikTok and weed. That's all that's left. Is just people dancing and edibles. Nobody can live anymore unless they're shoving an edible down their throat. How did we all sleep before weed? I need an edible so I can eat and sleep. What? It's a problem. It's a serious problem. Our friend, the kid who runs our website, Little Alex, they were going to start making him smoke weed because he's like very tiny. And
for like medical reasons, right?
Yeah, because he can't eat. He fills up very quickly and he needs to blow himself up because he's like this tiny little bird-like creature and he needs to just get bigger. So what he needs to do is smoke weed so he just eats brownies and stretches his stomach out or something.
Okay.
I don't know how it works, folks. I'm just saying, I don't want the wrath of the weed people here. I'm just saying it's fucking do something adult, And there's nothing adult, but there's something adult about developing an addiction to painkillers. There's something classy about a nice corporate pill. Slides right down, little Fiji water. You slide that sexy pill down your throat and you just light up a little ciggy-liggy and you have fun. Stop the nature weed shit. Embrace the Sackler family. Embrace Sometimes I wonder, like, what if there are impressionable people that listen to this? Like, I'm joking now, but I'm also serious in a way. Like, I don't like the weed culture is not for me. It's grotesque. It's truly grotesque. People that sell weed are stupid. When they're out and they start talking about their weed company, you want to throw yourself in front of a car or you want to throw them in front of a car. They're uninteresting people. Okay, they just start talking about my friend Michael talking about weed all the time, and he tries to make it sound like he's building a supercomputer. It's like, will you shut the fuck up? Yeah, people, you have weed and people smoke it. I get the fundamentals of the business. I get what it is. Oh, you put weed in a gummy bear. Now you put it in a meatball. You put it in a brownie. I know what you're doing about it. You don't have to go on like you're Warren Buffett of weed and talk about how fascinating. Oh, we got a lot of shops. We got a grow operation. Shut up. We don't need your mouth. Shut up with the weed business. Not fucking interesting. It'd be interesting if you're working with the cartel and fucking chopping people's heads off. But it's not fucking interesting when you fucking tell me you're having a problem with your graphic designer. This fucking kid that we hired, it's not working hard. He shows up late. Shut up. I could listen to my fucking friends talk about their stupid corporate jobs. I don't need that. A friendship with me requires you to shut your mouth and let me speak. We sit down, we have a lunch. I talk for 45 minutes. At the end of the lunch, I will hand you a script. These are the 3 lines you're allowed to say. I can't believe you are not more famous. It is a tragedy. Then you'll also say, everything you do is so good and it's all moving in the right direction. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great. And then I say, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And then we leave the restaurant and I pick. And that's a friendship with me. There's nothing else. There's no you to tell me about your the office politics at the weed shop. Who cares? Oh, he said to me one day, he goes, your business is you only have to rely on yourself. I have to rely on all these other people. You stop. I have to rely on all these other people. There's so many people. There's so many things. It's so hard. Everybody's, what you gotta do? Oh, you gotta work? Oh, you gotta work. You can't just sit around, get high, and walk your dog. Well, welcome to the races. Yeah. You gave a bunch of degenerates office buildings. Now they're all fucking like, it's so hard. Yeah, it's easy to sit in Wendy's and sell dime bags to me and my dirtbag friends. Sorry, it's a little more difficult now that he's like, it's the government's involved and regulate. Hee-haw. It's what it is. You have a business now. You're not just selling eighths from your mom's Camry. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I just know that my righteous anger is well earned, and I know that I'm right. I know that my targets are just, and I'm right. That's all. You just have to follow me, folks. I'm not saying you should do OxyContin. I'm saying, and you can't even argue me on this, it is more adult to be addicted to Percocet than it is to be high all the time. I just respect a corporate addiction. I respect when someone shows up and they're scratching because they're on opiates. Not fentanyl. That's too much, too far. But I respect a person who's just addicted to kind of a more exclusive drug. That's all. Don't smoke weed all the time. We don't need it. You don't need it all the time. It dims you. It dulls you. It makes you even less interesting than you are sober. You're even less interesting than you are right now with the weed. You know? Enough with the weed all the time. Now, we are sponsored by a lot of weed companies. And now this is awkward because I do want to say that everything I just said was a bit and a joke, and I don't mean any of it. And that I think weed is great. It's natural. It's fun. It's sexy and great. And I want everyone to do it every minute of every day. Every minute of every day. I just want to smell weed. I just want to live at Coachella. Mm-hmm. I want to live in a music festival where everybody's high all the time and nobody knows exactly who's talking to who. What? Who? What? I'm kidding. We don't have any weed sponsors, but I'll just tell you. You know, I get it. Your mind gets melted, and I've been addicted to marijuana, alcohol, Percocet, cocaine, Vicodin, but really it led me to Percocet. I've been addicted to all of those things, and you can kick them. You can be done with them, and I'm not saying that they're all the same. But weed is annoying. It's like an annoying addiction. It's annoying. It annoys me. I would rather you go take pills in your bathroom and I don't have to deal with you and you can suffer in silence. Just go to your desk. Just take what you need to and go to your desk. I don't want to have to be inundated with your culture of your drug. I used to take psychedelics. I never got into the culture of psychedelics, which is like, go to nature, be a better person. I never did that. I would take acid and go to the Garden City Hotel and talk about the fact that the people who lived in the next town over, Rockville Center, hadn't really made it. I'm like, they don't have any real fucking money. Okay? Because I embraced the material. Even when I was high, I knew that the material world was where I belong. DMT, it doesn't matter. I take DMT. I go to the other realm. I'll try to sell the aliens condos. I'll convert them. They'll be like, we're all hypersound. I'd be like, will you shut the fuck up? Do you want a stunning estate? Yes or no? I don't need the culture of these drugs. You can do acid and be a materialistic piece of shit. I did it for years. You don't have to you don't have to become a better person on psychedelics. You can fight it. You could just take shrooms and touch your friend's dick. You don't have to have any great realizations. You can avoid them. You can avoid those. You can avoid those realizations like the plague. I did it for years. You don't have to be a better person while taking psychedelics. You can just be the same shitty person you are, except you see trails. I mean, that's what it is. How much longer do we have?
We're at 58.
58. Okay. We got to wrap this up because we have some ads and we have some other things to do. And I haven't eaten since lunch. I do need to eat something. I will begin the keto journey again very soon. The keto journey will begin again. I've been off keto because it is very hard to stay on it because it's very restrictive. But I will be getting back to it very shortly. That keto cookie guy was going to sponsor the show, or he fucking hightail it out of here. Fuck you. Your cookies suck. They did. They got sugar alcohols in it. They make you shit. You can't have cookies. You can't have replacement cookies. Brian Callen saw me when I was on keto 3 days into it. I was like, have you heard of the keto bakery? Brian Callen goes, this is not going to work, is it? I was like, there's a keto bakery in Santa Clarita. He goes, this is not going to work. But to bring it full circle, here's what I think about Kobe. No, I'm kidding. He was an icon, man. He was an icon. He was not your dad. He wasn't your brother. He wasn't your best friend. Folks, cherish the people in your lives that are real. I know they're shitty. I know they haven't accomplished anything great. I know they don't inspire you. I know many of them smell. I know they suck. I know they're fallible. They're imperfect, but they're real. They're actually there. And many of you, they're the people around you that you deserve. You're not going to get a Kobe to inspire you. You just be inspired by your real uncle who just got away with a Dewey. You know, like the people in your life, as shitty as they are and as unimportant as they are, yes, maybe they're not buying estates in Beverly Hills with blood money. Maybe they're not, leading the Lakers to a championship, but you can reach out and touch them and say, get away from me. That means something because they're real. They're actually in your life. Yes, they're not inspiring figures. You're never going to look at them and go, wow, but you could look at them and go, oh, They're actually here. We're sharing a physical space. That's important. You know, it's important that you embrace reality. They're there to disappoint you. They're there to make you feel better when you fail because they also fail. They're there to be poor with you, to be gross, but they're there, and that's what's important. Embrace them. They're the real heroes. The people that you do just a little better than. Those are the heroes. The people that you could look at and go, God, that guy's a fucking real piece of shit. He ruined his whole life. He threw his entire life away. The kid from your town who died in a car accident. That's the guy. You go, that guy's dead. It wasn't even his fault. But he's dead now. And you're not dead. And even if you're fucked in every other way, you're not dead. And that guy is. That should be your Kobe. The guy that should inspire you is the scumbag who's just dead now. Not the greatest iconic basketball player that's amazing and yeah, but you're not going to do it. Stop. It's insulting to him that you like him so much. I'm inspired by people who own convenience stores. Like the Indian guy who keeps a shotgun behind the thing. I like that. I go, good for him. Maybe one day I'll be him. You know? Maybe one day I'll go to another country and open a business that fucking works. It's not easy. It's not easy. Okay? So this is my rant about that. It's, we've covered a lot today. Do oxys. Don't smoke weed. Go into real estate if you can, because you can be brain dead and do it. And you should. And embrace the real people in your life. All the stars in your life, people like Kobe Bryant or myself, we are there to really, make you feel like things are possible. But they're not. So embrace the people in your life that are actually there. You know, that fat woman who just puts up with you. She doesn't mind that you have IBS and that you don't have any money. You know? She's not going to die in a helicopter. She'll never be in a helicopter in her entire life. She's only been in a plane once. And it was to go to an all-inclusive resort where you threw up all over your shoes. That's your hero. Not the people on TV. Not the people that do great things. That beast of a woman who puts up with you and loves you because her father touched her. That's America. And that's beautiful. R.I.P. Kobe. R.I.P. Ari. Good night. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show live from Chicago, Illinois, broadcasting here from the heart of America. 5 sold-out shows at Zanies. Thank you, guys. We're having a lot of fun over there. Also, if you want to catch me in Toronto, those tickets are almost sold out, but I'll be there for Valentine's Day. And if you've seen my act, you know that nothing gets the pussies wetter than my act. I am an act where you just fuck right afterwards, maybe during. So just know that I am an act for romance. So if it's your first date or if you're trying to rekindle a flame from a marriage that has just gone the wrong way, especially the latter. If you're in a failing marriage, my set might either expedite that process where you just walk out and go, I don't even want to see you again, or it might rekindle that old flame that you had when you both met each other years and years ago. But those tickets are Valentine's Day in Toronto. I was watching the Democratic debate last night. Watching what happened in Iowa is great. This is the year of who gives a fuck. This is the year that the Illuminati just doesn't care. They're going balls to the wall. They're losing power. It's not working. The ruling class, they don't need to disguise things the way they used to. Epstein hung himself in the cell. The app's not tabulating votes. What's the app called? It's called Go Fuck Yourself. That's what it's called. It's called the Shadow app. I love it. It's just fun. You have to enjoy it. Now, yes, there's elements of it that should depress you, as it is the crumbling of our civil order to an extent, but you gotta love it. The Shadow app, by acronym, can't tabulate the votes in the Iowa caucus. They don't even take any care or concern with the name when they're coming up with this. When Langley, Virginia sends people out there to go work in tech firms and they come up with these fucking startups. So Whitney Webb's written all about this. This is the future, by the way. This isn't like this is an anomaly. It's not an anomaly. All of these tech firms are getting into voting. How are we going to vote? They're all building election technology, and it's going to be used and manipulated so that it says whatever it wants. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to let Trump happen again. They're going to try not to. They're going to do the best they can to limit people's ability to vote. And you're seeing it. It's just going to fucking happen. I mean, it's just kind of hilarious. And then, of course, who do all the votes go to? They go to Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete, who's the president of a town that's not even real. South Bend, Indiana is not real. Doesn't exist. If you go to where they say South Bend, Indiana is on a map, you'll be turned away by military police. My friend did it last week. You're turned away by military police. There's a bunch of tents, and there's guys standing outside with guns, but there's no South Bend, Indiana. It doesn't exist. If it exists, it's a city that's built under Washington, D.C. That's it. I'm telling you that right now. And Mayor Pete, who couldn't be more of a CIA shill in that race. He could not be more of, and I love like his quote where it goes, yeah, I had an interview with the CIA. I really botched that. Did you? Did you, Pete? I've only known you for a little while. I think you probably did very well. He's their guy in the race. You could tell. He's coming out there with that strong neoliberal position. He loves war. He's ready to, we got to just keep the economy servicing people that have billions of dollars. This is the establishment position. CIA works for the establishment. All they do essentially is pave the way for billionaires and corporations. That's pretty much what they do. It's what they've done all over the world. It's what they do in America. They're just hired guns. CIA is just hired guns. Okay? They're doing it's not all wet work. It's not all killing people. It's not all knocking people over, although some of it is that. But a lot of it is cultural. It's, who's the guy that we're going to find, that we're going to blackmail, or that, wants it so bad we don't even have to blackmail them. And somebody said something about Mayor Pete once to me, which stuck with me. This was a well-placed person in a pretty, established family that has money. And he said, the real scary guys are the Mayor Petes of the world. They're the guys without money and without connections, but they want it so bad that they will do anything. He said, those are the truly terrifying people, people that come from nowhere, come from nothing. And a lot of these people, by the way, that's how they are thrust onto the national stage. They're the mayor of a town you've never heard of. Well, why do a bunch of millionaires and billionaires love why do they love the gay mayor of South Bend, Indiana? Why is that guy their choice? What exactly about him excites a bunch of billionaires? Is it that they want the first gay president? Perhaps, but why? Why do they want the first? Is it because they care about human rights? No, it's because it's a great way to sidestep any meaningful critiques of somebody. And this is why you have like identity politics happening in the way it does, where we just elevate people based on their sexuality, their race, their gender. And it doesn't matter what they believe. Who cares what they believe? Doesn't matter. My friend, we talk about this a comedian that we kind of know. She's like a lesbian. She's Muslim. But when you see her act, you know what it all comes down to? That she likes hats. That's all it is. She doesn't have a specific, particular perspective. It's that she enjoys hats. She talks about her hat. I like wearing hats. My friend Ryan likes hats. They're the same person. They're essentially the same person. She just happens to be Pakistani and lesbian. It doesn't give you a perspective. But Pete is their man in the race. You could tell. You can feel it. It's your instinct and you're correct. They didn't think he was going to be the president. They thought Biden would get the nod or maybe Warren would get the nod. Pete was supposed to be a VP. This is what I think happened. I think Pete was going to be a VP. They want one of their guys in the White House. They want one of them in the White House. If it's not in the Oval, they want somebody. The billionaire cartels, the people that own the corporations, own the land, own the resources, employ the CIA. Those people want a sympathetic ear in that building, whether it's the vice president or the president. And Buttigieg was the guy, clean, a gay guy, married, South Bend, Indiana, Midwest, served in the armed forces. He has the resume. Probably turned into a CIA asset when he was overseas, maybe not, who knows. And people don't understand when you're an asset of the CIA, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're sitting down in Langley, Virginia taking orders, although you could be. It means that you're on their team and they're going to do everything they can to help you, whether you know it or not. And he's the dude, 100%. He's the guy. Mayor Pete is the guy that they want. And I don't think they figured that Joe Biden was going to implode the way he did, because Biden is completely senile. He has no idea what he's talking about. He's smelling the hair of children. He's making out with his niece. This is what he's doing. I mean, he's full throat making out with his granddaughter on stage. No one knew that was going to happen. Nobody figured that. They were like, well, he kind of kept this under wraps during the Obama administration. But he's just deep throat fucking open mouth kissing his relatives on stage. He's, massaging people. He's a creepy old guy. I don't think he's a pedophile. I just don't think he knows what's going on anymore. I think he's maybe in the early stages of dementia. I don't know what's happening to him. I just think he's completely falling apart. His senses are crossing. I don't know. I don't know why you're smelling someone's hair on a debate stage. I don't know why you're picking up children and, squeezing them till they pop. Whatever the problem is, nobody anticipated that was going to fucking go as left as it did. Warren's unforced errors are amazing because you got to realize there's billionaires watching this the way that you watch the Super Bowl. They watch this the way that you watch the Super Bowl, and they go, I can't believe who is allowing this to happen. This bitch took a DNA test to prove that she was a Native American. It comes back, she's not. Like, no one forced her to do it. No one put a gun in her mouth and forced her to do it. These people, like the guys who own Raytheon and General Dynamics and Boeing, they're all like, what the fuck is this bitch doing? She's throwing the game. And they can't have that. So you got to back a guy like Mayor Pete. Now, Mayor Pete is a cool, cautious, cerebral guy. Hard to put him on the fence. But, spent all his money in Iowa. They wanted a big showing in Iowa. But make no mistake, none of this is an accident. I don't believe that. I don't believe any of this is just happenstance. I think that part of the problem is that people don't yet realize where we're at because the economy is good and people are largely employed, even though not at jobs that they want. The ruling class in this country is losing power. The people are turning against the government. Really, maybe for the first time since the 1960s, are you seeing movements being built where the aim is to upend the social order? People are tired. Donald Trump was a wrecking ball that people threw at the system. They didn't want Hillary. They didn't want Jeb. They don't want Joe Biden. So if you're a billionaire, what are you to do? You have to find somebody that these people are going to coalesce behind. You have to find an Obama. You have to find somebody who is going to have, the gravitas to keep the fucking train running, because otherwise it gets messy. Trump, it's messy. Sanders, it'll be messy. When you have an anti-establishment guy in there that's willing to call out the CIA, call out the FBI, when you're willing to go to those links to totally remake society, starting with your own political party, Trump remade the Republican Party. Sanders will have to remake the Democratic Party. Big Democrat donors are fucking losing their minds. I know somebody who works, in a company where like John Kerry's a partner. And, John Kerry was on the phone the other day. Somebody overheard his conversation. He's like, what, should I run? What are we going to do? Like, these guys are losing their grasp on their party. They're losing their grasp on the country. And you're starting to see, so then they have to fight back. They're not going to go quietly into the night. That's not what having billions you don't amass billions of dollars by being agreeable. They're not just going to step aside. They're going to have to kick up some dirt. And they're going to do everything they can. They've thrown a lot of shit at Trump. None of it is stuck. Trump is a corrupt guy. He spent years and years. Hold on, Chicago. There's a fucking ambulance in Chicago. Somebody shot in Chicago every 15 minutes. So this is why there's ambulances going on. But they threw everything at Trump. Nothing stuck. Now, maybe when he's out of office, something will stick. I don't know. I have no doubt that there's corrupt dealings that they could unearth. By the way, and I have no doubt if they looked at Obama or Clinton, it's the same fucking thing. Okay? But what are they going to throw at Bernie? So the first thing they threw at Bernie was this kerfuffle in Iowa where an app couldn't tabulate all the votes, and the late reporting precincts all broke for Bernie Sanders. Fuck you. You know what this is. You know what it is. Bernie could have come. If Bernie won Iowa, he might have come out of there not, with a mandate. It might have started to look like the big money or the momentum. He would never have. He's not going to get the big money, but the momentum, clearly, grassroots party activists would all kind of flow to him. They've bought themselves some time now. Now Bernie's going to win New Hampshire. Then the media's going to talk about that New Hampshire doesn't really matter. This is the next thing they're going to do. They're going to be like, well, we always knew he was going to win New Hampshire. It doesn't really matter. We stole Iowa from him. And they're going to hope that he gets beaten in South Carolina or on Super Tuesday. And they're hoping and praying to God. And if by some miracle he gets the nomination and wins, then they're going to do a version of what they're doing to Trump. He's not going to be allowed to govern with a mandate. He's going to be attacked from all sides. They're going to have people in the Democratic Party that are turning on him in the same way that they have Republicans flipping on Trump. This is just what they're going to do. You might hate Trump. You might hate his politics. You might think he's a destructive force in society. All of that you can think is true. You cannot doubt that from the minute he took office, there's been a coordinated campaign from both the media and the intelligence agencies to discredit this presidency. 100%. And if you think it's just Trump, if you think it's not going to be Bernie, you're out of your mind. They just don't want anybody rocking the boat. And they're going to throw scandals at Bernie. They're gonna back people. They're gonna turn people in his administration against him. They're gonna have people spying. This is what they've done forever. It's just not going to change. The problem is it's becoming more obvious. They're getting more desperate. As you get more desperate, when you're a criminal and you get desperate, the crimes become odd. You start grabbing things, the old smash and grab. Midday, in the middle of a public park, you just fucking grab somebody's pocketbook and run. Why? Because you're desperate. That's not a highly organized criminal activity. You're fucking doing what you can to steal some votes in Iowa from this guy. But it's very interesting to watch happen. The good news for all of us is that corporations have governed the country for a long time. It's really not. The elections, as important as they are, if Mark Zuckerberg stepped down at Facebook, it probably has more of an effect on people's life than the elect. For now. but it's gonna ramp up, and you're gonna see just a constant fight until the establishment can get a Mayor Pete in there, until they can put an Obama back in there, until they can get somebody who's fucking just plays the game. It's just gonna keep getting worse. It's gonna keep getting obvious. The media, which is now in 100% shill mode, and I mean to a point where they're telling you your eyes and ears don't work. That's the job of the media now. They come and tell you your eyes and ears don't work. What you just saw isn't happening. It's not happening. What you just heard isn't happening. That's the job of the media. They go, there's nothing to this. These conspiracy. Before there were conspiracy theories about Iowa, people on MSNBC being like, oh, God, there's conspiracy there. People think that this shadow app is somehow connected to. I know that Mayor Pete's campaign funded it. A lot of campaigns funded it. And listen, I know a lot of the people that designed the app worked for Hillary Clinton. A lot of people worked for Hillary Clinton. Stop it. Shut up. Eat your Wendy's and go to bed, pig. Stop reading articles. Stop reading Reddit threads and go to bed. Everything's fine. There's no conspiracy here. What are you, Trump? What are you, a Russian? I mean, this is the full-time job of the media right now. Hey, everybody, how much do I have to talk about Ridge Wallet? I mean, how much do I tell you I love Ridge Wallet? I love Ridge Wallet more than my mother, more than my father, more than any of my friends. I'd watch them all burn to death. I'd watch them all get the coronavirus and die if I could just have another Ridge Wallet. It's so beautiful. It's so great. It's a minimal front pocket wallet that's designed to streamline what you carry every day. It has 30,000 five-star reviews and is a better way to carry your cash and cards. There's a lifetime warranty if you love it and free returns if you don't. It comes in titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, and over a dozen different styles and colors. Okay? Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/Tim. Use the promo code, dummies. Please. My father bought a bunch. He didn't use the code. It doesn't help me. God. He told me, he's like, I bought everyone I know a Ridge Wallet. I'm like, did you use the code? And he said, no. So it doesn't matter. But God bless him. God love him. Why stop now? That boomer mentality, just ride out into the sunset with it. No help for the children. Let them die. I'll tell you right now, folks, before I had a Ridge Wallet, my life was a horror. I had a big leather wallet. I would open it up. Business cards would fall out. It was embarrassing. I was homeless. I had no money. I had AIDS. I lived in the park. I lived in a tent. It was disgusting. I could not bathe. I had all kinds of lesions all over my body. Somebody opened the tent one day, zipped it, put in a Ridge Wallet. The day after that, I looked at the Ridge Wallet. I'm like, man, this is a simple, minimal front pocket wallet, and it's going to streamline my entire life. So what I did was I threw out all those old business cards, and I just took the Ridge Wallet, and then I said, fuck, this is perfect because it really only fits what I need. Credit card, debit card, a little maybe $100 bill, do cocaine off a hooker's ass. Perfect. Maybe a card for my attorney. Not a lot. It made me pare down my life, streamline. It made me start thinking about what was important, okay? 1 week after getting the Ridge Wallet, I had a job. I was a managing director at a bank. I had an apartment. I had a wife. I had 3 children. They were all 3 years old. They were beautiful. I had a beautiful family. Everyone loved me. Why? Because I hustled. I grinded. How? Ridge. I took a wallet. I put it in my pocket. It changed my life. I cured myself of AIDS. I do not have lesions anymore all over my body. I have a 6-pack. I have a beautiful body. I have a perfect penis. It's 7 3/4 inches. Beautiful, thick, equally at the base and the head. A beautiful head, pink, a perfect hue, 2 lovely sized balls. Everything's perfect. And because of the Ridge Wallet. 1 week, 7 days after the Ridge Wallet, I had a beautiful family. We got married. We had a honeymoon. Everything was perfect. All my friends came back. I went to a, high school reunion, showed off pictures of my wife and kids. I'm a big managing director at a bank. It was all because of Ridge Wallet. It's a magic fucking wallet, dummy. It's not just a wallet. It's magic. This is a cult. Okay? It's a magic wallet. Anything you want. You want to kill someone? You can do it with a Ridge. You just have to, you have to inscribe their name in the Ridge Wallet. And then you could curse them and then they die. Ridge.com/Tim. Ridge.com/Tim. Use the code Tim for the link in the description. You'll get 10% off, folks. You get 10% off your dream life. Okay? 10% off your dream life. You should pay more for how much this thing is going to fucking help you. It's amazing. Thank you. The Tim Dillon Show is sponsored by Kanai Pro Gear. The world is going to hell in a handbasket, and you got to be ready for battle. Starts with a good backpack. Throw out the Jansport. Set your NPR tote bag on fire. Get Kanai Pro Gear. Their backpacks are inspired by military assault packs. They took military-grade materials like 500D Cordura nylon, the brand name nylon, which is the strongest, lightest, most durable. This thing would have survived an Epstein cell. LOL. God, I hate this ad read. Lots of great products have come out of the military. Aviator glasses, the Jeep Wrangler. And now you can get the Phalanx Duty Pack. It is in use by the U.S. government. It is trusted by Secret Service agents. Trust me, it's good enough for you. So the Kanai Pro Gear thing, their holiday sale is on now. My code TIM, T-I-M, you can get an additional 15% off. Listen, here's the deal. We all know the world is going to descend into chaos. Eventually, the dollar's not going to be the world's reserve currency. Interest rates are going to go up. China's going to stop servicing our debt. We're going to go into a death spiral. Political corruption is systemic. It's a problem. It's a disease that's infected every part of the body politic. The mistrust is not going to come back. All you're going to see is more irregularities with voting, more distrust in the system, and eventually large-scale mass unrest. You're going to see climate change really cause massive problems, not only for the economy, but for the social order. And what you're going to need is a great backpack when things go to shit. It's very true. You're going to need a good backpack. Look at all those disaster movies, and that's where we're going. They all have backpacks. I Am Legend, all of that shit. They all have backpacks. They walk around and they put things they need in them like guns. I'm telling you, society's going to crumble. It's going to fall, at least partially. And you're going to need a good backpack. So this is smart. Kanai is smart. It's a smart company that they're marketing for the end. That's what I like. That's what I love about capitalism. Market for the end. Even in the end times, you need a durable bag. You just need it. It's important. If you don't have it, you're going to get caught. You don't want to be caught. So if you go to Kanai Pro Gear, that's CANNAE ProGear.com, use Tim to get 15% off. CANNAE ProGear.com. Use Tim to get 15% off. After the bombs, there will only be you and Kanai Pro Gear. It's true. I like it. As much as I make fun of the ad copy, they understand what they're selling. They're selling a backpack to psychopaths that listen to my show, whether they're on the far right or the far left, because we have Proud Boys in the audience. We have Antifa. We have communists, we have fascists, we have Nazis, we have Black Bloc. We've got everybody. We run the gamut, the far left to the far right. We have, Epstein obsessives. We have Epstein truthers, probably. We do the whole thing. We have people that believe that the 9/11 buildings were holograms. We have people who believe that the month of September doesn't exist. It is what the fuck it is, and we're happy for all of them. Kanai Pro Gear, get the backpack. Don't not have a backpack when everything goes to shit. Don't do it. It makes you long for the days when everybody was just checked out. The days where I grew up. My first experience in Chicago was my friend. We met a woman who had an impact on our life when we were children. And not children, but we were in our early 20s. We were children. We were young kids. We didn't know the ways of the world. And we were in a bar in East Meadow, Long Island, called Dugan's, which used to have really good wings, and I'm sure it still does. But we were there, and we were all boozed up. We were all fucked up, having fun. And this woman, attractive, in a stripper-esque quality. She was hot. Not beautiful, but hot. There was a sexual energy to her. She was just, she was down for it. She was that type of woman. She was dancing on the bar at Dugan's. And then my friend Joe, who was about maybe at that point a little under 300 pounds, also got on a bar and he was dancing at Dugan's, and but truly light on his feet, like a Jackie Gleason, and he just missed falling off the bar, and he was so hammered he didn't know what he was doing, but just graceful, like a figure skater. Just the grace of him dancing was really something to see. We all just stood there and stared at him because it was like amazing to watch. And this girl dancing on the bar as well finally got off the bar. And she came over to me and she goes, "Who's this fat fuck?" And she pointed to him. And I was like, "Oh, that's my friend Joe." And she had met us a few times. We knew her. She was friends with some of our friends. She had a presence in Levittown, Long Island. Levittown is the first suburb in the country. And, there was a lot of promise there post-World War II. And now it's mostly, flea markets and heroin. But, that's what it is now. And that's what it was starting to become then. It was just a suburban, it was trashy, One guy said once to me, one of the kids we knew in Levittown, we walked into his little Levitt house. I think his dad put like a new Pergo wood floor, like fake wood. Man, they love that over there. They love fake wood because you could drop things on it and spill things on it. And, you could have fist fights in the room and nothing would ever affect the quality of the flooring. So this guy gets a Pergo wood floor, which cost about $500. And then he said to me, he goes, "My dad put a new floor in this house. It raised the value of the house $50,000. And I'm like, "Well, didn't the floor? Jesus, fuck!" Does that read on the thing? Okay. It just drives me nuts. The sirens drive me nuts here. I mean, it's just fucking insane. We'll be back in the studio. This is, we couldn't record a podcast. We're announcing a 34-week tour. It's there's a lot going on here. But this idiot then explained to me that his house was now worth $100,000 more money because his dad spent $500 on a fake wood floor. And I tried to tell him that wasn't true. And he just stared at me. And then you realize that, like, you couldn't get through to these people. They were just biological waste, That's really what they were. You just stared at them and you were like, "Okay, sure, whatever you want." But we met this woman and she started dating my friend and immediately she was a whirlwind. It was just fights and problems and websites that her name was mentioned on where people had accused her of all kinds of things, like writing fake checks and stealing their money and being a con artist. I liked her immediately. I really liked her immediately. There was something about her I enjoyed. She was a lot of fun to go out to dinner with. She was a real con. She worked people over. She had dudes in different towns that took their fucking money. And I think that's great. I support all of that. And yes, she was ruining my friend's life, but someone's got to ruin your life. That's really what it comes down to. Someone has to come into your life and destroy it, unless you'll do it yourself. Somebody's got to come in with a big dick or a wet pussy and destroy your ability to make decisions. They'll destroy your relationship with your family. They'll destroy your motivation, your ability to work at your job. They'll put distance between you and your closest friends. Someone needs to do that. You don't live a full life unless you've met someone where you literally will follow them into like some. Now, a lot of people don't go that route, which is fine too, and they have other things and whatever. But most people in the world, you're just waiting for that to happen. You want to meet somebody who will you could just say, "Fuck you, mom and dad, if you don't like this person. You don't get them. You don't understand them." So that's what it is. You're either going to destroy your own life or someone's going to do it for you. That's the way this world works. That's all. It'll be drugs, it'll be alcohol, it'll be food, it'll be sex, it'll be your own ambition, it'll be money, it'll be your fucking ungrateful children, it'll be the job that didn't give a fuck about you, it'll be some soulless multinational corporation that you spent 45 years in, that one day you just go in and you've got a gun in your pocket, your fucking pants, and you're ready to just blow everybody's head off, Who knows? It's going to be one of those things. It might as well be a stripper from Chicago. It might as well be a cocaine addict from the suburbs of Chicago. Why not? Great tits. Why not? It's going to be something. It's going to be a bad real estate deal you did with your brother-in-law. Something's going to get you. Don't get out of it alive, folks. It doesn't matter. Make your mistakes young. And he did. And my friends made their mistakes young and, old and middle-aged. But we met her, and she was immediately a whirlwind. She was immediately somebody who came in full force, had opinions about everybody, about everything. I saw this. My dad's wife came into his life. My dad had one failed marriage. She came in. She's like, this is the way your life is going to be run. And my dad's Irish, and Irish men marry their mothers. And he goes, okay, good. I need a mother. I need someone to come in and tell me what to do. Where's the washer and dryer? How does all of it work? When do we pay our bills? The first of the month? Okay, I'll try that. For years and years, we've been paying them whenever we could, but we'll try to pay them on the first, honey. That's a good idea. She came in and just cleaned it up, This woman came in. I don't want to say her name. I'm not going to say her name. We're going to call her, because this was her nickname. Her nickname, we called her Blagojevich, because Rod Blagojevich was, I believe, the governor of Illinois, and Rod Blagojevich, of course, was a shady guy, and I think he's in jail right now. And Blagojevich, he was an American politician, the 40th governor of Illinois, and then he was impeached, convicted, and removed from office in 2009. And, he was, Chicago is just the most corrupt state in the union. He was removed from office for corruption, bribes, all of that stuff. It says, Blagojevich was impeached and removed. He solicited bribes for political appointments, including Barack Obama's vacant U.S. Senate seat after Obama was elected president. Fun. So was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. So for the rest of this, we'll just call this woman Blagojevich, because, she was from Chicago. She played fast and loose with the truth. But again, she was a fun person. Not always. She had tantrums and things. She'd go out to bars and fight people. She was one of those people. She's one of those people, you'd go to a bar and you'd be having a cigarette outside, and then all of a sudden she'd be being thrown out by the bouncers, I'd go, where's she? Where's Blagojevich? And then she's in a headlock. Two guys are walking her outside, She wasn't Jackie Kennedy, sure. But my friend, his parents, being boomers, they were just kind of like letting it happen. They realized, like I did, that that generation of people from Long Island, those boomer parents, they were not helicopter parents, I'll tell you that much. It wasn't like the Asian tiger mom where they were just like, hey, let it happen. We lived our life. We had our journey. You're going to have yours. And that was it. It was kind of hands off. I'm the guy that's featuring for me now was on the phone with his dad the other day, and it was so nice, and his father was so invested in what he was doing and wanted to know about everything he was doing, and it's like, oh, that's what parenting is supposed to be. And my friends and a lot of our parents, they were wild people. They were fun. They were big personalities, but it was about them. They were invested in them. That whole generation of people, they were just invested in them, and their kids were in the picture but weren't the picture. And I remember this woman, and they'd, like many of these relationships, they break up, they get back together, they break up, they get back together. She goes to jail. You know how relationships are, folks. You get back together. Somebody goes to jail for identity theft. You get out of jail. You get a little coke. You put some of that on the street. You make a little money. You lose a little money. You have to go back to fuck some other guy you don't know, and you fucking write some fake checks. You take his credit card. You take an advance on that. You're bouncing around. You get it. It's relationships. That's what they are. They're all deals. We're all making deals every minute of the day. She was always up to something, phone conversations and parking lots where no one could hear her, that type of stuff. A fun woman. Again, someone that I watched from afar and up close. I had no real investment in the outcome. I didn't want her to murder my friend, but I knew that was a possibility, and that would have been okay too. Not that I wanted him to die, but sometimes people make a choice and they can't unmake it. You got to follow it to its logical conclusion. We always used to kid around. She had an older grandmother, and we said, she's going to kill that woman. She's going to push that woman down the stairs to try to inherit money or something. We always believed that, and we thought my friend would go along with it. We go, he'll probably do it too. It's just what they have to do. Sometimes you can't get in the way of somebody's story. Sometimes you can't sit down with someone and go, listen, you have to be a good moral person. It would be a waste of their time. Not everybody's here to do that. Some people are here not for a long time, but for a good time. They're going to have a little fun. They're going to make it interesting. They're what you're going to talk about in the diner while you're eating your eggs. You're going to read about them in the paper. Some people need to be that person, and you can't get in their way. So many of you are moralists. It's so boring. Oh, stop doing drugs. Stop stealing money. Don't be a whore. Oh, fuck you. Some people find that that's the only way they can feel free. The only way they can feel alive. It's really not my business. It's truly not my business. I'd rather you not abuse children. I'd rather you not. But I will say, I think this woman, for all of her, negatives, was a decent mother, She had kids from many different races. She was woke. What I'm thinking is, when I remember her, I remember just somebody who, when you were with her, anything could happen, you just felt, and I literally mean anything. And I remember one day we were sitting in my friend's home in Long Island, and the state police showed up, about 4 cars, and they knocked on the door and they said, "Is Blagojevich there?" They didn't use that word. They used her real name. And my friend Ryan was like, "No, I don't, what, who?" And they said, "Well, this is how you work." Because at that time, she was on Indiana's Most Wanted. She was on a list of people from Indiana's Most Wanted for fake checks, I think, identity theft, things like that. She's the most wanted. They wanted her, in other words, and they were coming. And my friend opened the door because we knew you never know the level of skullduggery someone's involved with, especially somebody like her. She was kind of a pro, almost a pro. Like, she was pretty damn good at what she did. She wasn't great at it. She's in jail now because she got a few DWIs. But she was pretty fucking, the state police showed up and they said, "Hey, where's Blagojevich?" And he was like, "She's not here." And they said, "Listen, this is how it works. We have a warrant for the property. We're going to go in. And if we find her, you're going to go away as an accessory, because that's how this works. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Where is she?" And my friend just looked at them and he went, "She's in the kitchen." And they got her. They took her away. And I remember my friend's father, he said, "You know what was scary about it?" He goes, "You know what was really disturbing?" He goes, "You guys, you're big fucking guys." My friend's like a bodybuilder type guy in Long Island. He goes, "You guys are big fucking guys." He goes, "If state police had showed up to take you guys to jail, you would have been panicked." He goes, "You would have seen it in your face." He goes, "This bitch showed no emotion. She just walked the fuck out of the house stone cold." He goes, "She's a career criminal." I remember having dinner with them. And he goes, "She's a career criminal." And we were just drinking martinis and eating. And they were trying to make him understand, but not for that long, because then, they started talking about buying condos and, in Florida, and, the boomers, baby. They were just basically like, "Now, more importantly, our son might be dating somebody on the most wanted list, but let's discuss condos. Let's discuss how we can get out of here, how we can get away. Let's plan our escape." But she was an amazing, fun lady. I remember the first time I was in Chicago, because that's where she came from. She came from the suburbs. Her mother ran a business. Her mother had money. They had money. They had a big house in the suburbs. They had fucking money. She didn't come from, she had just enough money to know she wanted more money. And, she just couldn't live the, straight life. Just wasn't in her. She just wanted a scam or a con. She wanted somebody to work over. She wanted to just put money in her pocket that wasn't hers, That's just what she got off on doing, And my friend, came from some money, and I think she thought this is a great way to kind of just perch myself, next to somebody that has a little money, and that also, is my friend also, morally bankrupt, and to an extent, we were all drug addicts, we're all doing drugs, we were all, we weren't exactly, upstanding members of society, so she never felt uncomfortable with us. But I remember we drove to Blagojevich's house to give her dogs because her and my friend had just, this is true, a guy had left. They became friends with this guy. He went to Europe for a year and they were, I think, maybe supposed to get his mail or whatever. They just moved into his apartment. They just moved into his apartment and started living there. And then until that scam was up and they were thrown out of that. So these are just, they're grifters. They were living in someone else's apartment. I mean, I came over, I go, whose home is this? They go, oh, it's some guy. We're just living here. He had no idea they were living in his fucking apartment. So when that unfortunately, when that was, when time was up on that scam, she went back to Chicago. My friend during this time is like working for gyms in Long Island, I don't even know what that means. I think it means just selling HGH in the parking lot of an Applebee's. And she is doing, odd jobs. I mean, I don't know that she ever had a job. She was dancing. I think she was stripping. She was all over the place. And so we take this road trip with these two dogs to Chicago. And we visit the house of Blagojevich. And we meet Blagojevich's mother. And this woman was wild. 300 pounds if she was a pound. Pack of Marlboro Menthol Lights. Mocha Frappuccino Grande every day in a big fucking truck. I was in the front seat with her and she was just screaming on a Nextel at somebody. I think she was in trucking or whatever. She was just wild. She was just a tough bitch. And that was Blagojevich's mother. I was like, this is a wild family. Her dad, I don't remember her dad at all, which either means he was like a soft-spoken guy or I don't know. But the mom was the dominant force in the house. A no-nonsense, take-no-prisoners bitch who had built a business. Fuck you. She knows money. She knew her business inside and out. Don't fuck with her type of lady. Respected the hell out of her. Only knew her for a few hours, really, but enjoyed her, And then, we hung out. It was St. Patrick's Day. We all got drunk. They dyed the river green, and my friend and me dropped the dogs off, and then we went home, and it was a fucking really interesting relationship to watch. It ended as these things do, My friend started dating another woman from Long Island, and they started doing heroin, and this girl had a few DWs and is serving, I think, almost a decade in prison right now. And it's sad that those things happen, It's unfortunate. But would I have wanted it another way? Would I have wanted it another way? The answer is no. Because we just have to let things happen. Would I have wanted, them to be missionaries for the church, going around and trying to show people the light of Christ? I don't know. No. They were fun people. And sometimes when you have a lot of fun in life, you pay a little bit of a price. I've paid a price. We've all paid a price. And so my message out there is if you have fun people in your life, and I mean truly fun people, not like fun people like, oh my God, Shelly is so fun. She has a few drinks and she makes everyone dance. I mean really fun people. Indiana's Most Wanted, state police, people getting arrested, front page news articles. You won't leave your wallet in the room with them. You think your phone might be tapped. That type of person. Their family pulls you aside when you walk into their house and go, you should stay the fuck away from them. That kind of friendship, that kind of fun. If you have one of those, keep your distance, be smart, but also don't try to make them into something they're not. It just isn't going to work. It's not going to work. They know who they are and they're leaning in. They're having the journey they need to have. Maybe later on in life, they realize the errors of their ways. I'm sure, whatever. I'm not saying go out there and hurt people, but if you know somebody and they're a con artist, a cheater, a grifter, a derelict, but they're fun at dinner. It's so important to be fun at dinner. Go out with a substitute teacher and listen to her mouth. Listen to her talk about grading papers and parent-teacher conferences, and you will run back to somebody who was on the most wanted list. If just for the fucking story. You're only on this planet once. How bored do you want to be? How meaningless do you want all of your interactions to be? You got to find some people that spice it up. You do. And that was who this was. That was Blagojevich. She was spice. My friend would call me, our other friend, not the one that was dating her, but another guy. He'd be like, yeah, man. He's like, she's in real trouble now. They got her on this and that. But somehow she's out. She made bail. She's back out. We're all going to go to dinner. I go, oh, great. Fun. I don't know. Listen. I don't judge. I mean, we all do in our own way, but you just got to let it happen, folks. She was a fun woman. I feel bad that she's in jail now. I feel bad that negatively impacts her family. I feel bad that my friend went on and started doing heroin. I don't like any of those things. They're not good things. But my role in that situation was nothing. It was simply to watch. Many of you think you're too powerful. This is the problem. You think you're too powerful, that people give a shit what you say. They're not. They don't, and you're not. Sit back. Relax. Let it run its course. It's going to go where it's going to go anyway. Your opinion notwithstanding. Your little sit down, not with, you're going to have a talk with someone. You're going to have a talk with them. You're going to straighten it out. You're going to go, you should not keep doing coke with this stripper. This has got a hot box and you should. No, you gotta just rein it in and slow it down. You're living stop. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. What you say to them is, what, you got some coke on the street? Are you making any money? Let me get involved. Be smart. Obviously, don't be the guy handing people bags, but go in there with a few bucks. See if you can turn your money around. Flip a little money. Yes, I'm telling you, if you get the chance, you should sell cocaine. I'm not serious about that. Or am I? I don't know. I don't know your life. It's not again, none of it is my business. Meet Cute. Do you love a good rom-com? There's a new podcast called Meet Cute, making short scripted rom-coms that take you from Meet Cute to Happily Ever After in just 15 minutes. Before this ad read was bought, no one listened to this show. Each Meet Cute story is made up of 5 3-minute chapters. Their mission is to give you a much-needed burst of happiness and hope. These stories fit in your earbuds and anywhere in your day. You can find Meet Cute on your favorite podcast platform or wherever you listen to audio, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Meet Cute already has a library of stories waiting for you, featuring diverse characters, setting, and storylines. New stories drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe to Meet Cute and follow them on Instagram to stay up to date with the latest love stories. Well, there you have it. It can't be dark all the time, folks. Sometimes you need to go out there and find some light, some hope, some love. And that's where you go to Meet Cute. Meet Cute. I mean, what is this? I don't even know what it is. You can find Meet Cute on your favorite podcast platform. Yes, it's a podcast. And they have a library of stories waiting for you, featuring diverse characters, settings, and storylines. I mean, I wonder, is this like porn? Are you jacking it to this? Is this something that's like, when you listen to it, you're like, I don't even know. Or is it just like I guess it's just rom-com, like lovey, like romantic comedy, Made in Manhattan, J-Lo's the maid, she meets a white guy, blah, blah, blah. Isn't that the plot of that? I think it is, right? I think it's that type of shit. I would love to advertise porn podcasts on here. I think that might do a little better for my audience. But Meet Cute has a library of stories waiting for you. Latest love stories. It's made up of 5 3-minute chapters. So each story is made up of 5 3-minute chapters. I just did a Meet Cute. I just told you a lovely story about my 2 friends who met each other and had a great relationship, which, as many Long Island relationships, ended in jail and heroin. Meet Cute. 5 3-minute chapters. Be great. The meet cute story. Jeffrey and Ghislaine. He was a successful banker from New York City with a checkered past. She was a British socialite whose father was an asset of the Israeli intelligence service. Her father was a media mogul. She had a keen eye for men that just needed a little polish. She met Jeffrey. Meet cute. They knew they liked each other immediately. They started a business, trafficking children to the wealthy elite of the world. They started a startup servicing billionaire pedophile Satanists. Wild. Meet cute. I don't know who that is for, this meet cute. When it could be for, listen, maybe it's great. I haven't listened. Rom-coms can be funny. I should listen to it. I don't know who it's for. But you know what it is? You should check it out. I'm actually going to check it out of pure curiosity because I don't want to, I'm curious as to what you can do in 3 minutes. And there's 5 chapters, 5 3-minute chapters. And I'm wondering, will they let me do my version of a love story on Meet Cute? I'm guessing no. But I would like to do a little scripted 3-minute story. And I just don't understand. I don't understand why I can't do that. Meet Cute. I love that. The first ad is like, get a backpack to overthrow the government. Second ad, like, it's cute. Do you want cute? Do you want rom-coms? Cute. It's nice. I don't know what to tell you, man. Go check it out. Morbid curiosity. It might be fucking great. It might be great or not. We'll see. Goodbye. I just had a conversation the other day with somebody about this particular situation, and they're like, we should have done more. We should have said more. What? What are you going to say? It's obvious what's going to happen. We all know what's going to happen. You don't start dating a stripper and think that it's going to work out. It's not going to work out. But it's going to be fun. Doesn't anyone care about fun anymore? Doesn't anyone want to be entertained? Doesn't anyone want to be in a car with somebody who's committed multiple felonies and will continue to? It's good. Listen, you can't do it your whole life. You got to grow up. I'm 35. It's not fun anymore. It's a lot of fun in your early 20s. Be friends with criminals in your early 20s. It's worth it. In your late teens and early 20s, be friends with criminals. It's valuable. Watch the way they live and work. It's fun. It's not all bad. The life of crime is not all bad. There's some value to it. You got to understand that. You got to understand it because, in the society that we live, really everything's a crime. Everything's a hustle. Everything's fake before it's real. It's all bullshit first, right? You want to be an investor. You want to be, in real estate. You want to be this. You want to be that. Whatever you want to be, you're not that when you start. And eventually you have to become that. And I think that you could get a lot of inspiration from criminals. You could get a lot of inspiration from people that literally have to do everything themselves. Criminals get very little help, unless they work on Wall Street. They get very little help from the government. Everything's a grassroots operation. I mean, this woman had to knock over men on her own time. She learned all those skills. It's not nothing. It's not nothing to be wanted for identity theft in several states. It means you had a little bit of an operation going. Learn from these people. You don't want to emulate their activities per se, but there's something refreshing about a criminal. Somebody who's there to take your money and rob you. Somebody who doesn't have any morals, that sees life as a zero-sum game. They want to claw your eyes out, take everything from you. They just that's why they're so good in bed. They're just trying to fuck their soul out. They don't have one. They're trying to feel something and they can't, the people that are the best fucks aren't the people you're necessarily going to marry, but they are the people where you should probably hide your wallet or at least lock it up until they leave. These are people that you need to spend a little time with. You shouldn't have an entire existence on planet Earth, okay, without fraternizing with a few of these people. You might not want to get too deep. I got a little too deep with some of these people because I was a druggie, and drugs make you sloppy. They make you reckless. But you should observe life. You should. It shouldn't only, I talk to elites. I talk to guys who go to Ivy League schools, and their lives, all they've spent their whole fucking life, from the lacrosse team to the fucking Ivy League school to the private club they go to with their dad. It's all the same fucking people. How boring is that? Don't you want to be doing coke in a pay-by-the-hour motel in Tampa? Yes, you do. You want to have a full life. I love the fact that I spent many years of my life doing cocaine in essentially flop houses. I mean, I look back on it, I would not have traded that for the world. I really would not have. It's the best education I've ever got. Criminals are interesting. You can't, you shouldn't be a criminal if you're not good at it. But they're an interesting type of people. And you realize that it's not all the government. It's not all some program that's going to fix everything. You make everything fair and equitable and nobody's going to commit crime. Fuck you. You want to live in that world? You want to live in a world where nobody's trying to fuck you over? God, can you imagine? Fear is good. It's good to know that people want to kill you. It's incredibly healthy. I've always maintained that you shouldn't be overly paranoid and you shouldn't be overly cynical. But you should also realize that people are trying to kill you. Both of those things can exist in your head. Both thoughts simultaneously. They can both be true. This is just the nature of the beast. It's the nature of what human beings are. Our lives were enhanced by Blagojevich. Blagojevich was fun. She kept us on our toes. She kept us looking out for detectives in our rearview mirror. Who's going to get her? Somebody's going to get her. They always get gotten. It's just the way it is. Most of them end up in a cell. But, if you're lucky enough, you'll know them for a brief period of time. And they'll enrich your life with their chaos, with their insanity, with their scams and their scheming. They'll make it fun. They'll give you a story to tell on a podcast while you're in Chicago waiting to do shows. They'll give you someone to read about in the papers later on when you check up on them and you go, oh, yeah. Again, you never knew her. I didn't know what kind of person she was. I mean, inside. On the outside, she was a bad person. And on the inside, she was also probably also bad. But I didn't know that. I never got close to her, that close. I was always around her. But you can be always around people and not really know them, But just don't exclude criminals from your inner circle. I think it's a big mistake. I think, trust me, Mayor Pete doesn't. All those fucking people that are funneling money into his campaign, criminals. They're a lot better at it, They don't get DWIs and end up in jail, They don't get, taken out of a Long Island kitchen by the SWAT team. But criminals, nonetheless. No politician says no to criminals. They all love criminals. Because the richer a criminal is, it's so easy. The redemptive powers of society they just work. It's like, well, when somebody has a lot of money, they're allowed to make some mistakes, fudge a few things, blur a few lines. They're still a good person. They've done a lot for their community. They've just made a few errors in judgment. That's what it is. So you can't understand America without understanding crime. And I don't mean, low-level, desperate street crime. I mean institutional criminality, crime. People that are willing to find ways to subvert the democratic process, to get around the law. This is what we've done forever. The Wild West, the mafia. We love criminals. We respect them. We have them on our walls in our house. We idolize them. We watch films about them. Because what do they represent down deep? They represent freedom. Freedom to do whatever the fuck they want, to build their own empire, to not have a boss, to not take any shit from anyone, to not have to worry about your family or your friends, to be able to protect people, to be an outlaw. These are the things they represent. Now, in reality, that's not always the case. In fact, it's rarely the case. But it's what they represent. what they represent. We like that. We like Trump. We like Trump's a criminal. He's a criminal. He's a big real estate developer with a bunch of buildings in Manhattan. He's done business with a ton of shady people his entire career. We like that. Fuck yeah. He can say whatever he wants. He can live in a big gold apartment and just fire off tweets from the shitter. He's a boss. He's a mob boss. He's a don. We love that shit. We love it. So even if you don't want to be friends with criminals up close, don't come to me and say that I'm some type of hypocrite. I mean, not hypocrite, or that you don't be a hypocrite. You say that I'm oversimplifying things. No, you love criminals too. Why do you think you watch all those Martin Scorsese movies? You love them. You just don't want to see what it really is, what it truly is. You just like criminals when they're done up in movies, when it's Hollywood. But I like the organic version, the grassroots, the people that are just getting started. And unfortunately, Blagojevich, she never made it to, really fucking people over, inheriting that company her mother ran and, really get involved in some import-export shit, getting mobbed up. Maybe one day it'll happen. We don't know. But she was what I'll always think about her when I think about Chicago. I'll always think about that period of my life. Sort of this lawless, corrupt individual that came to symbolize an entire city. I like her. I feel I'd spring her out of jail if I could. I can't, but I would. I get her and my friend together and we go to Miller's Ale House in Levittown, have a nice little reunion, because that's what it's all about. But I can't do that. And I'll probably never see them again. That's the way life also works. But, I don't regret spending time, with a real one. She was a real one, And I hope one day somebody who knows her listens to this and, don't be mad at her. She was just going where she was going. Stop getting in people's way. Let them live your life. Stop getting in it. We all know the woman that gets excited when someone falls down in a train station because they can help. You know who that woman is. You see it in her face. The woman who wants to be in control of everything. She also wants to be seen as a helper. So, you have one of them in your family. As soon as something happens, she goes into this mode where she's like, let's go right now. I'll help. You go there. Secure the perimeter. I'm going to get him. You know who this person is. She wants to help, and she also wants to be the boss. She wants control. That's what she wants. She only comes alive when tragedy happens. You see this person. She perks right up. Car accident? Boom. She's ready to go. She darts out the door. She wants to cradle somebody's head in her arms. That's who a lot of people are. A lot of people out there just want to help, not to truly help, because they just want control. They want to feel alive. They want to feel important. But what you have to do is just let it fucking go. So in closing here, folks, I think we've learned a little bit. Your youth is supposed to be for making mistakes, surrounding yourself with the wrong people, fucking some of those people, pushing, the boundaries of where you should be. Become friends with very rich people. Become friends with very poor people. Become friends with people that don't follow the rules. Break the rules yourself occasionally if you can, if you can face the consequences. Become friends with people that are fun. Laugh. Do the wrong thing every now and then. There's a singer that I like who said, she goes, I don't do things for the moral of the story. I do them for the story. And I think that's where I've come around to on Blagojevich. Just a great American story. A girl raised wealthy. No reason for her to behave the way she did. None. Zero. None. That makes it all the more fun. That makes it fun. If she was a desperate girl coming from the projects who needed to do this, it would be sad. But this story's fun because she comes from an upper middle class upbringing and she still wanted to go into the dark corners of the world. That's a fun broad. Beautiful, idyllic, suburban home business she could have stepped into and ran, but fuck it. There was just something there, something dark. a thirst that needed to be quenched, you know? And you realize the limits of, listen, God bless Bernie Sanders. I hope you get everyone free college. Half of them won't go. What are you going to do then? Show up, put a gun to their head? The problems in this country are they're institutional, but they're also personal. They're also personal. I don't know exactly how you're gonna turn this whole thing around, and you're probably not gonna. But when I saw that big idyllic suburban home that she came from, and then where she decided to go and the places that she wanted to spend her time, you started understanding that sometimes people, there's just an itch inside of them that they need to scratch. And sometimes they're going to scratch it so much that you're just going to start bleeding and bleed to death. It's what happens. And you really can't get in the way of that. If you try too hard to stop those people, you will get involved with those people and become those people. And then their horrors become your horrors. That's the problem. And maybe that's what you wanted anyway. Maybe all the help you were trying to give them is because you just want the chaos and the drama, because you thrive on it and you want to do it. But you don't want to steal anyone's identity, but you like the idea that you're in this train wreck's life. Step back. Watch it like you watch Ozark. You try to help the people on Ozark? No. Why? Because they're not real. Just like this. Just like anything. It's not real. It's just a story being written somewhere and you have no control over it. The writers decide what's going to happen. They decide who dies, who lives, who goes to jail, and you just watch it. And the minute you try to involve yourself in it, even in the crusade of moralism, I'm going to do good, you become the story. You can't tell the story if you become the story. So step back, get away, walk the other way. There's a few people in life that you truly love and you truly care about. And I'm telling you right now, don't even help them, because you'll hurt them. You'll hurt them if you help them. If someone you know falls and you hear them screaming, and I literally mean this, if you hear an elderly person that you know screaming, put in your ear pods and just listen to Doja Cat. Listen to Juicy Juicy. And eventually the screaming will stop, because that person will have either given up or they'll die. But it was never your business anyway. You know? People make their own decisions. It's not a big fucking deal. You know? God bless Blagojevich. Hopefully your kids turn out great. They will. The family has money. It'll be fine. Or not. Again, not my thing. Not my thing. My friend, good guy, love him. He'll straighten himself out. Or he won't. Again, not my thing. You try. And then trying gets boring. It gets boring. Maybe some people's destiny is to just Bonnie and Clyde, ride out in a hail of bullets. And you're getting in the way of that. You're getting in the way of that because you want them to go have brunch. Leave them alone. Let them do what they're going to do. Don't necessarily, keep your distance, but enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride out there. That's all it is. That's what the billionaires do. They enjoy the ride. They manage it when they can. They manage to get in, but at the end of the day, what happens, happens. TimDillonComedy.com, live dates. We're back in the studio next week. All the episodes are going to be in the studio going forward. This was just a very long week in Chicago, doing a lot of shows. There was not much we could do in terms of that. TimDillonComedy.com for all live dates. And I hate recording not in the studio. I just love being in the studio now that we have it. We're going to make it better. We're very excited. Jamie Vernon, Rogan's guy, is going to come help us do a few things. We're pumped about that. You stay pumped about it too. And we'll be back on YouTube, so don't fucking complain and whine. And there's no video. Every week from now on will be video. This is just one week we could not make it fucking happen. But, go steal someone's identity, folks. Go try their life on. See how it works. Go have some fun. Or at the very least, go find someone who's done that and take them to dinner. It'll be fun. And that's what we're here to do. Just have a little fun. Goodbye.